This is Expressive and it's our Dope Mondays, doses of power and enrichment. And we believe on Expressive that starting your week on a good note is important. Starting your week on a good note is paramount to us here at Expressive. Hence, this segment, we're adding some greatness, some dopeness, some power to your Monday, just so your week will go smoothly. And my guest is right here. My guest is popularly and affectionately called Uncle Benedict by his talented kids, contestants, and patrons. Benedict Yartey had his basic education at Xpressive Anglican Primary School, Accra, continued his secondary school education at Adisadel College, Cape Coast, and then to University of Science and Technology, now KNUST, to pursue Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, accounting option from University of Ghana, Master of Education as well, and Master of Education in Administration in Higher Education from University of Cape Coast. He is a certified active learning facilitator by British Council, certified administrator, international baccalaureate organization, and recently completed his Doctor of Philosophy in Education program with Alfred Nobel University in Ukraine. Dr. Benedict Yartey has attained lots of heights in life. He is an educationist, consultant, pianist, music director, and composer, singer, and a mentor. CEO and principal, British Columbia College, Ghana. He is a resident judge of talented kids and music director, choir master and organist at St. Andrew Anglican Church, Xpressive, Accra. As a choir master, he has worked with a number of choirs, including St. John's Hyde Park, London, Elicop Mass Choir, London, Christ is Alive Ministry, London, KNUST Choir, Kumasi, All Saints Anglican, Kumasi, St. Anthony's Anglican, Abilinkpe, Holy Family Anglican, Adenta, and a host of others. Welcome to Expressive, Uncle Benedict, now Dr. Benedict Yartey. It's good to have you here.
Great to be here too. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Wow.
Looking sleek.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, I'm flattered. Yeah. What a resume. You have such an impressive and such a fulfilling resume. I mean, tell us about it. First of all, I'm sure that I don't know what you wanted to be when you were growing up, but I bet you didn't want to be an educationist. Tell us what you wanted to be and how, you ended up being an educationist and attaining such heights in education.
Right. Thank you very much, Jackie. Before I proceed, let me just send a special birthday wish to my daughter, who turns 14 years today. Aww. So, Caitlin, happy birthday. Daddy loves you so much. Yeah. Yes, so Benedict Yartey was born to the late Abraham Yartey and Vida now Odacho Lamte.
Right.
I was raised up around Kaneshi and Abosokai Mataiko environment, so you can imagine. And at a very tender age, my parents, separated. So I am a true product of a broken home.
Right.
Growing up, I spent some time with my grandmother. There will be time that I'll be with my grandmother, who was a kenke seller. So you can imagine, I have all the skills required to prepare a delicious kenke. From, fetching the firewood, water, going to the corn mill and all of that. So as you rightly said, I had my basic education at the Xpressive Anglican Primary School. And to be honest, it wasn't a rosy upbringing. It was quite tough.
Right.
As a little boy, from a broken home, spending some time at grandmother's place. But I was just focused on my academics, and I was also interested in various, talents, like playing the instrument and all of that. And I'm just here to inspire somebody.
Of course.
So I just want to put on record that back in the day at the elementary school, every term, the list of students that would be driven home for non-payment of school fees, my name was a regular feature. And until, by the grace of God, I entered at Adisadel College on a double scholarship.
Wow.
the Government of Ghana Scholarship for Best Student, and then also was privileged to get the CMB scholarship as well. So by the grace of God, that story of being driven home for non-payment of school fees ceased. And I even completed at Disado College. I had a credit there, which I actually managed to go for. Yeah. And right from that phase, I had to, before going to Adisco, whilst at the elementary school, I had to help my grandmother selling the kenke. Right from the production of the kenke to selling of the kenke around the Sabon Zongo, Abosokai, Zongo Junction area. I was popular, and I had one auntie, Auntie Koshi. She used to sell smoked fish at the Sabon Zongo inside. So from school, we'll just trek from Mataiko all the way to Zongo. I just take off my uniform, and then she will put some of the fish on a tray.
You go and sell them?
I'll go and sell. I'll go to the Russia Sukura zone. There was this Brukutu, spots there that anytime I took my products there, in no time,
everybody it will be gone.
It will be gone, then I come back. So until the darkness sets in, if I have to go a number of times, I'll do that until we see that, okay, now it's over.
Wow.
The day ends, then she'll just tip me small, and I'll go back home. And in fact, with the friends that we're growing up with, we were more of a rugged nature.
Yeah.
Sometimes almost like a free range, children on free range. We could be moving miles and just get to a point where there's a group of people who say, okay, let's throw a challenge into soccer and all of that. So I was really a great soccer player.
Wow.
Yeah. And another thing that I grew a lot of interest in is boxing. Yeah. I had a great interest in boxing because there was...
Did you ever practice it?
I did.
Okay.
I did at that level. Not on a professional...
It means you are that strong.
I am. I'm still strong, and... those days after school, they mounted this boxing ring near my house. So you go in there, you just pay some money, another person comes and pays,
and then you
box.
Wow.
If you win, you take the money. So that elevated my interest. So just to fast track the whole thing, from life in Adisada College, I was a science student. Just from the first year, I was privileged to. I was a manserver at my church already. So you went I went into it, and I was also playing the organ for the school. And that offered me a lot of opportunity to practice most of the hymns. Because I decided being an Anglican institution, every morning we had a chapel session before dining. So, being the organist, you need to be abreast with all the hymns. Because the students knew most of the hymns.
Is that where it started for you, playing the piano?
No, it started from home.
From home, and then you went to Adisado and you continued to...
But in Adisado, that's where I mastered most of the hymns. Because the boys would not wait for you to introduce the hymn. When they mention, they call the hymn and they start, singing. So
you need to be good at it.
Good at it. Because they will go in a Jama flavor. Yeah. And I was trying to read, with the pedals, playing with the legs. You need to take your time and read and play. But these boys will not allow me. So I had to just get a strategy. Just after siesta, I would rush into the chapel, practice all the hymns so that now I could play them offhand.
Clearly, from your story, from what I've read about you and from what you're telling us, it didn't come easy.
Not at all.
But what has been your driving force through it all? Because you said earlier that, you were sacked from school for not paying school fees. You used to sell fish. You've gone through it. But what has been your driving force? You didn't say, oh, I'm from a broken home, I'm going to give up. What has been that driving force?
Personally, I am a very resilient person. I don't just give up. I don't get... scared by situations. I try to go dim on my surroundings and see what best I can do. So when everybody else will be running away, I want to run to the issue, strategize how best to go through. And like I told you, I have done so many things that I've kept it going. But one thing that I have always held strongly is humility. It's humility. Humility has really opened a lot of doors for me. I remember just after this other college, I was teaching some children, I mean, like home teaching and all of that. And sometimes I'll be asked, how much would you charge? And I said, oh, no, whatever you give me, I'm okay. And truly, I was just happy with whatever you give me, because my greatest motivation is to see the impact of what I do to your child. You know, so all this while I was saving the money. I didn't even know why I was saving. But I remember at the tender age of 8, my mom encouraged me, and she helped me to open a bank account with the then National Savings and Credit.
Wow.
Now today is Societe
General.
General. And I didn't know why I was saving.
You were just
But
saving.
when I got admission to UST, I mean, my dad would give me stories. Mom would say, no, I'm not ready. So it became very frustrating. So my friends who knew, I mean, my name was on the list and they had gone ahead, were worried. So eventually, I sat down one day, I said, okay, let me go and see the bank manager to speak to him that this is my situation. How best could he help me? So when he checked my account, I had been able to save 140 cedis. So he said, if I should take everything, then it means they have to close the account.
Yeah.
So he could help me to withdraw 120
So you
to leave the 20. So the 120, I got it at a Kaneshi branch. I remember I bought some gari, some shito, this fried fish, you know, the small tilapia, you know. I got them, got some soap and a few things, went to STC, boarded the bus to Kumasi, got myself registered, and I started KNUST. And fortunately for me, at the time of my arrival, the Anglican Society needed a music director.
Wow.
And a choir master who would help with the choir and then raise a band. So my friends, I mean senior friends who were there, who knew I was coming, had already made a lot of noise that a guy was coming who could help. So I was really embraced warmly, and you know, that made it paved way into the hearts of the lecturers, the vice chancellor at the time, Professor Monineza and his wife. I mean, they were attending the Anglican Society. So it really endeared me to a lot of people. And suddenly, most of them started engaging me to be teaching their younger kids at home.
You talk about kids a lot. You spoke earlier that you were teaching and they asked you what you'd, you know, you said nothing. You keep talking about kids and children. I mean, I see you love kids a lot. How do you deal with kids, and where from the sudden love for kids, or where from the love for kids? Because one would say that, or one would think that women are more comfortable with kids, or women do well with kids. But clearly, you do better with kids as well.
Yeah, thank you. For kids, working around children didn't start now. I remember way back around the early 90s, before I even went to Adisada College, I started, you know, all kids band in my church called the Triumphant Babies. I started that. I also started the Christian Mysterious Drama Club, also for children. I was teaching them how to act and all of that, because I had books on, you know, some where there were sketches and skits I could teach them, and I trained most of them on how to play instruments, sing, and all of that. So working with children didn't start now, and I realized that even my own mates at the time, if we were taught in the classroom, anytime I had a chance to explain something further to them,
they get it.
They get it better. So I saw something in me. So at KNUST, I was a student, but a teacher.
Teaching as well.
You know, and that was how I was fending for myself. I mean, and apart from that, some of the lecturers introduced me to some churches in town, apart from the campus that I was playing for. So I was earning bits and pieces from here and there, and to a point that during vacation or break, some of the churches would want me to stay in Kumasi. So it got to a point that my presence in Accra almost faded. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was just thinking, coming to Accra, spending the money, and then going back and all of that. So if I'll be there, so apart from my hall of residence, I was given an apartment in town. So during vacation, I was there and I was helping a lot. I was exposed to a lot of great people, to the point where I remember when the Otumfo Pukuwari II, when he died, among the few people who were selected to be part of his funeral service,
You were part of
I was
it.
part.
Wow.
And that I didn't even know that the program was being carried live on BBC. But I got back to campus and some
People
friends were
say,
telling me, oh, we saw you, we saw your team. And it was quite an exciting thing. Then from my, KNUST story, another breakthrough that came up was when we were selected to embark on a work exchange program to the UK. And fortunately, I was selected. But when it got to the payment, because there were, maybe you had to pay for your own ticket and you need to get some pocket money.
Pocket money, yeah.
So when my roommate told me that he saw my name on the board, I was like, really? I've never thought of this one. So, because I know where I'm coming from. I said, no, it's true. Your name was there. I checked and I was happy. But when I saw you needed about $850 for KLM,
so you couldn't go?
KLM ticket and all of that, and a whole lot. I said, this thing.
Can I go?
So my friend encouraged me, Salom. I mean, if he's watching, I say a good morning to him. Salom said, look, come on, go back home, tell your daddy, tell your mommy, maybe something will happen this time around. I was hesitant, but he kept encouraging me. We prayed over it. I came to Accra. I met my dad. I told him about it. He said, okay, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what days were running and nothing was happening. So I just changed and switched to my mom. What can you do this time around? Same story. Wow. So I went back to Kumasi very disappointed. But like I told you, because of the little things I do, most of the lecturers really took me as their own son. So, and I wasn't really comfortable sending my problems to people.
Yeah.
So when I went back and I told Salom what happened, he said, oh, let's approach any of the lecturers, maybe. I was still hesitant. Then he encouraged me. We went, I spoke to a couple of them, and fortunately, they were able to raise the money for me.
Wow.
And I went on the trip. And because we were on a working visa, we had the work permits.
Wow.
Life was easy. Within a short time, I was able to work, raise the money, pay this money back, and still had some to even take care of my tickets for subsequent trips.
Because of your good deeds you had done, so it paved the way for you.
Absolutely.
Wow, beautiful. But I love the story you're telling. It's actually motivating me. It's encouraging me. And I would like you to talk a bit about talented kids and working with the kids. So working with the kids from talented kids, what would you say, or how would you say, as a child or as a youth, how do we find our inner gift? How do we, pinpoint it that, no, this is what I'm supposed to do?
Right. So sometimes there are certain things we engage in that we don't even realize that these are the things that we were born to pursue. But sometimes how you can easily tell is where unconsciously, when you have to decide to do something, that's what comes into mind. You wake up, by the time you realize you are singing, you are bathing, you are singing. They ask you to go and do something, you are singing. It means that there's something in you about singing. Or you see an instrument and there's that, attraction. You always keep gravitating towards these instruments. You see somebody playing it and you admire the person so much. There's something there. One of the greatest challenges we have as Africans is the exposure. When you want to raise a child to get the best potential out of them, there's something we call the psychosocial development of the child. The environment you create for the child will really propel them to what they have been destined to do. If, for instance, I was fortunate, my grandfather had a big harmonium. The harmonium is a kind of a piano, but you use your legs to pedal and then you keep playing. We had that in our family hall. So as a little child, very curious, I would go and play it. And my late father was also a great pianist. So the interest was building right from school. Nobody would ask me to. So if you see that situation, as a mother, as a father, as a parent, as a teacher, all you need to do is to create that environment for the child. Instead of waiting for them to grow and you be forcing them, go and learn this, go and learn this. No. Just you can buy this toy, this second-hand instrument. Just leave it at home. Don't put pressure on them. See how they will naturally gravitate toward these instruments. And when you see that, now you put in some efforts to encourage them, have a reward system to, let them feel appreciated. I created my own reward system, and I will tell you, it's very funny. When I started playing the piano at that tender age, my father was the organist for the church, the same church that I direct the music now. So I'll go to Sunday school, but every week I'll learn one song, a song that I can play offhand. So when I come to church and we close from Sunday school, quickly I'll go and join my father behind the organ in the big church. I'll sit and be waiting patiently for the recessional hymn to be played. Once they finish, then I take over. When I start playing, it attracts the interest of the elderly in the church. Then they'll be bringing me some coins here and there and all of that.
So that you keep that. That's your reward.
That's my reward system. So I'll keep it. And then the next week, I'm ready to, do a new song. So I just do it. So when you create a reward, yours may not be for your children to get people who, but maybe something that they like, you do for them, a treat here and there. And but as you do this, try not to compare your child with
somebody else,
other children. It's a dangerous thing to do. Let your child grow naturally. Let them know that they are not into competition with anybody. And that's one of the philosophies I have in my school.
Your DB school?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine? Typical.
So you're creating that environment for them in the school.
In the school.
I've also created a certain environment for you, and I'm sure you'd enjoy it. Just look on your left. I have something special for you.
Oh, wow.
When you look at instruments, something happens to you.
Something happens.
I want you to do to us whatever you want to do to us this morning.
All right.
But before you go, I want you to advise the youth on how to attain success in their lives. And of course, parents, as for parents, I think they've already gotten theirs.
Yeah.
So let's talk to the youth before you move to them.
Right. So for the youth, one thing I want to say, or the first thing I will say is that the word impossible or impossibility, it is only crystallized at the point that you accept it as impossible. Because there is nothing that is impossible. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. That's the first thing. The second thing is to always have a clearly defined objective as to why you do whatever you do. Don't do because you are being pushed to do it. Don't do because others are doing it. Don't do because you want to just spite people or you want to show off or you want to let people know that, yeah, I can do it. No. Do it because you can do it and you know why you want to do it. And be patient in life. Don't be in competition with anybody. You have something special in you. You are uniquely created. And if you work diligently and you stay disciplined to it, you will succeed. You will definitely succeed. By Uncle Benedict. Okay, Uncle Benedict, please go there and, enjoy yourself. I will. Would enjoy as well. But yes, thanks to AlexPay, and make sure you download the app. All we need in a new world of mobile transaction is to be smart. Use AlexPay. AlexPay allows you to send money across all networks, top up airtime, buy data, and pay bills. Alex has a unique QR code function to make online payments collection easier and smarter. Rely on Alex for your crowdfunding campaigns. Raise funds for any project in community. Dial *443# on all networks and make sure you download the AlexPay app as well. Uncle Benedict, I'm ready. Do you want me to sing for you? Yeah. Hey. Or maybe you give us a song and let's go. Okay.
Me
Sabu wa Yesu wa dini